data from the database and interact with the data. Right. So we have learned one simple example of working with the server-side application. One more important point we need to learn so that we can see one end-to-end integration here. So in the API, last session I given you how we can handle communication and interact with the API methods. So one more small point I will show you here is we will see how we can manage another option. What we are doing is we are going to learn how to handle the other requests, API requests in Node.js. Means in Express, already we discussed. Yeah. Now, Express API using Node.js to connect with MongoDB and send the data to client as a response. Before doing this, we need to know one more point I will tell you. Another point you need to understand is configuring requests for, you need to learn configuring requests for post, put, and delete. How do we configure the request? Because we have learned get request. If you can know about these points also, then we can together build one small application. How we can configure the requests for post, put, and delete. How we can manage the request for them, and how do we work with them. Actually, post is for submitting the data. Post is for submitting the data to server, and put is for modifying. Put is for modifying the data on server, and delete is for delete data from server. These are the three interactions. Previously, we learned about get, how we can get and manage. First, we will learn how to write these requests and how do we configure the requests. Post, put, and delete. Then we can build one small application with the combination of all these. Let's see how we can handle this, how we can configure and how we can handle this. So, first step is we will go into this and I will create a new file project, some web API.js. Here we are importing where express is equal to require express. We will import express. Where app is equal to express. We are configuring it. Now, already we learned how to handle get request. Suppose user says like this. So get products like this. And it will use a request and response. It will configure a request and response, and response dot-send. This is get request, just message I am giving. Now, so we have app.post. So I am using this, some add product, and this is a function which is expecting a request and a response, and here response.send we are displaying. This is post. So add product, just like this. That is post and add product. We are configuring this, right? Now we are posting the details and configuring the details and handling it. So how to test this, I will tell you. Similarly, app.put So we are defining here put. So put here we are saying update product, and it is a call using a callback function. So callback function, and here we have a request and response, and we are sending response.send. This is put. So that means modified data. Now, and app.delete. So this is having some delete product, and a function. We are configuring the function, and request and response. And here we are saying response.send. So this is delete. This is delete. And here we just defined delete data. But important, I will say listen on port number, some 3000. And say, so console.log, I am defining here, server started. We are displaying server started. So one of the main point is, as a developer, we can test the get, post, put and delete methods. We have to test first whether they are working or not. And actually, from a browser, we are testing them. You observe previously what we are doing is, here we are running this, open this web API, and compile this. Here we are compiling this node web API.js, node web API.js. It started. So server started. Let's open this, and you can request here. So http://127.0.0.1 and :3000 and slash get products. This is get request. We can test the get request, but actually we have other requests. We have other requests like post, put and delete. We have other requests like post, put and delete. Post, put and delete like request, you cannot test from the URL. Observe carefully. The post method is add product. The post method is add product. So here in the URL, I am testing that add product here, /add product. You cannot test, because by default, whatever you define from the URL, it is get request only. So you cannot test post, put and delete like methods from browser. You cannot test from browser. That is one problem that you will face, especially while designing the put, post and delete methods. For that, what you can do is, for that to test them, you have to download to test these requests. Note here. So note is to test the API to API requests, to test API requests. So developers can use tools like, we have tools like, we can use the tools like, we have the tools like, tool name is, we have a tool called Postman. You can use Postman. You can use a tool called Fiddler. Postman, Fiddler like tools you have to use. I will show you how we can use these tools. There are so many other tools also, but these two are very popular among developers. So you can use these tools. You can use these tools for building API and testing them. You have to download this Postman. You can download this Postman or Fiddler. So you can open here. Suppose in your computer, first I will show you here. So you download Postman for Windows, for your operating system. So for Windows, any operating system you can see here, this is Postman. So this is Postman. You can download this Postman too. And this is very popular. It is available for all platforms. You can download and you can use for any operating system. And what is the specialty of this tool is, it is designed for testing your services, APIs. If you are learning web services and APIs, all your APIs and web services are tested from this Postman. You can download this Postman, or you can download Fiddler. Fiddler is another popular tool. So this is a web debugger. You can download this Fiddler also. Fiddler is also available for all operating system services. You can use this Fiddler. So any one of these two are enough so that you can test the requests and responses. Remember, you cannot test post, put, delete like methods. You cannot test post, put and delete like methods from a browser directly. For that you need some special tools. These are the special tools. So what we are doing now, if you downloaded any one of these, then you can use that. So in my computer, I have both of them. I will show you. This is Postman. This is Postman application. This is one of the special tool used for testing our APIs. Because browser will allow to test only this GET request. Other requests you need to test from here. Test from here. Remember, this is only for testing. This is only for testing, right? This is only for testing. Once you are good, this is only for testing. Once you verify everything here, this is Postman. Once you verify everything working fine here, then you can implement in the project. I will show you. First here, this is Postman. In the Postman, you can see here, the request is there. Left side, you can observe that this is the panel. Yeah. And this is history. This is empty, delete. Yeah. This is the panel. And here you can see that there is a address bar, request URL. You can see the request here, URL. What you can do is, here you can enter the request, http://127.0.0.1:3000. You can enter that. And here you can see the request type. By default, request type will be GET. Here we are testing GET products. So GET products on GET request and click on send button. When you click on send button, the response will come and it will display the response message below. You can see the response message. It is showing this is GET request. This is GET request. That is the response message it is showing. Okay, good. Now I want to test the post method that I created. Post method name is add product. And you cannot test from the browser. It's not working. So you go to Postman. Here, type that URL there. So that is add product. Add product is the URL. After typing that add product and change the method here. Left side in the drop down, select the method you want to use for post method. That means add product is tested for post and click on send. Then it will get a response from that. And you can see now response came. This is post. This is post. Add product. If you try this in the browser, it will not show. In the browser, it says I cannot get it. Why? Because browser will allow you to test only get requests. Post, put and delete like requests. You cannot test from the browser. You have to use these special tools. After testing how to implement, we will see that. So similarly, I want to test the put method, update product. Then here I am configuring. As a update product. And here I am changing this post. Instead of post, I am defining to put here. I am selecting the put here and click on send. Click on send. Then you can see that it says put. This is put modified data. Similarly, I want to test delete method. Remember, don't forget to change the method name. Otherwise, you will get an error. Suppose I said delete product. Delete product is designed for delete method, but you are not changing the delete method. Still put is there and you click send. Then it will returns this HTML error. Cannot put, it will say, because you have to change this to delete. You have to change it to the delete and click on send, then it is fine. So whenever you are working with APIs, especially first you need to test the API, whether they are properly working or not, functioning or not, that you can do by using these tools. This is Postman I showed you. You can download Fiddler also. In my computer, I have Fiddler also. This is Fiddler. This is a Fiddler. This is also a debugging tool. This is also a debugging tool. This is also a debugging tool. So, and here also you can test. Actually, this is Fiddler. In Fiddler, you will find a category called Composer. You can see right side, I have some tabs. Get started, statistics, inspectors, autoresponder. Composer will be there. You have to go to Composer, and from the Composer you can test it. That means you can test your URL. Remember, make sure that your API is running. Sometimes you terminate this. API is currently not running. If API is not running and you are testing them, it will not work. Make sure that your API is running. So our API is running here. That means what we will do now here, simply I will just put here, so node web API.js, then it is started, server started. Once the server started, now you can go to the debugger and here you can test http://127.0.0.1:3000, and here I can select the option post. And here I can say add product. Add product is for post. And after that, you click the button execute. Right side, you can see execute button. Click the button execute. Then it will execute and it will get the response and it will show you. So add product response came here and the response will be displayed there. You can see this is post add product. The response displays there. You can go to Composer and you can test. So any tool you can use. So Postman or Fiddler like tools you can use and you can work with them, right? So Postman and Fiddler like tools you can handle them. So you can use Postman or Fiddler, any tool, and you can handle them. These we will use regularly. We will use regularly in order to verify whether data is coming or not, so the data is working properly or not. Once we verify that perfectly here, then we can integrate into our application and we can see, right? This is the API for handling all kinds of requests, But currently we just designed to send some messages, but now we need to design this. Example I will give here, some web API.js. That is an example here. I am configuring web API.js, that is done here. So this is an example. So this is an example for what we have done, web API.js, right? Now we need to do the same with data also. So that means with the help of data, we must able to manage this, all interactions with the data. Now we are going to see a complete approach end to end now. That means now APIs are ready. So server side database is ready, server side API is ready. Now we need to consume this in the client side and we have to present it. let's see first basic approach how we can do. That means we will see an example of creating API, and consuming client side with jQuery with jQuery. So jQuery Ajax, by using jQuery Ajax calls, we handle that. So creating API and consuming client side with the jQuery Ajax. We will see how we can manage this completely. First, we will see how we can fetch the data, how we can access the data, and how we can use the data. Later, we will learn about interacting with the data, like inserting, updating, deleting, how it can happen. So for that, see the example how we are designing. So first, what we will do is, in our shopping project, in this shopping project here. So this is the shopping project. In this shopping project, first step is we need to, in this shopping project, we need to create, already we have index.html. We will create a simple file called business layer.js. We are creating business layer.js. Okay. Now in this business layer, we have to create. So we have to create API which can communicate with the database, get the data, and return the data. So first step, what we are doing is we are importing var. So we are importing various options. Var, 1 second. Yeah. We are importing here var. We are importing first Mongo, because to connect with MongoDB we need Mongo client. Mongo client is equal to require MongoDB. In that MongoDB Mongo client. Okay. Next step. We are importing. So we are importing Express. So Express is equal to require Express. Okay. Initially these two are there. Now we are declaring. So URL. It is to connect with MongoDB. So MongoDB :127.0.0.1:80 the port number is 27017. That is for connecting with Mongo server URL. And we are creating app, it uses Express. Okay. Now let's create an API. App.get API method get. And what is the method name? /get products. That is the method name. This have to connect with the database, get the data, and return the data. This should connect with the database, get the data, and return the data. This uses a request and a response object. Through response object, it should send the data. How to connect with the data? So we have to use Mongo client. So Mongo client.connect with URL and a callback function. And it will return error, and it will return a client object. Okay. If there is no error, then client object. Through client object, we will create a database. Already we know this logic. So we will use a client object.db. We will connect with DemoDB. Okay. And in the database collection, we will access a collection called TBL products. And TBL products will use the find method. And here we are using toArray, converting that into array. And toArray uses a callback function. Right? ToArray uses a callback function. It uses a callback function. And this callback function will return error and documents. And if there is no error, this part already we learned. If there is no error, and it will return documents, response.send, it will send the documents. So this method is ready. And app.listen on port number, so 3000. Okay, then put a message console.log server started. Server started. So this is the logic to connect with the database, get the data and return the data. This is to connect and return the data. Observe carefully. Observe carefully. It is going to use this get products to get the data. It is going to use this get products to get the data, and it is working fine. So what we need to do now, let's run this and see. First test it. So node business layer.js. So it says server started. Server started. Okay. When server started, let's test it. So in the browser you can test. In the browser you can test, or in the Postman you can test. Suppose I showed you Postman, open Postman, and in the Postman you test this request and see whether data is coming or not. Postman is the API tool, and in the Postman API tool we are testing it. We are configuring and testing in the Postman API tool, and let's test the method and see. So let's open the URL here, and here URL is get products, and it is on get request. Once click on send button, it will get the data and display. You can see the JSON data is coming fine. That means the records are there, the data is coming fine. Now important is this we have to present in the UI, user interface. This we have to present in the UI. That means we know that the data is coming from this location. Data is coming from this particular location, and we need to create a service to present it in the user interface. That means I need to present in a HTML page. Then how we can send that HTML page and return the HTML page? Here we will use one more option here. App will use express.static, and static method will use public folder. It will use public folder. I already told you how to access static files. And what we will do is actually, so if it is using the public folder, app is going to use the public folder. Then what happens now is I will once compile. So once compile business layer. In the public folder, we have an index page design. In the public folder, we have index page design. I will open here like this. That means we are going to open like this, HTTP, so colon, so 127.0.0.1 and 3000 and hit enter. Now you can see index page is coming. It is good, index page is coming. In this page, I need to display the data. Coming from API. By using jQuery, we have to consume the data. That means now what we have to do is we need to use jQuery inside this index page, HTML page. We have to use jQuery in this index HTML page. And through jQuery, we can consume and present the data. And you know how to get jQuery. Currently, we don't have jQuery in our node modules because this is a separate project. How to install jQuery in your project? First, npm install jQuery. So it is installing jQuery. So later we will install jQuery, Bootstrap, and complete example I will show you. First, jQuery is ready. After installing jQuery, now link that script source is equal to, you know where jQuery will be. It will be in node modules. So it is jQuery and jQuery dist and jQuery.js. We are linking that. Okay. Now, after linking this, so here I will create a heading. So products list, and we will create a table. So we will have what width is equal to some 400 and border is equal to 1. Border is equal to 1. And here we are configuring. Here we are configuring T head. Yeah, and TR. In that TH, we have product ID, and suppose we have a product name, and we have some product price. So name and price, keep it short. Product ID, name and price. Initially, we want to display only these three details. Actually, in the database, you have in stock, you have manufactured, you have shipped to also. Later, we will display all the details. We will create a good UI for interacting with that. First, we will see communication working or not. Now here in the table body, T body, I need to present the data. T body is having an ID, T body. Okay. Now I need to write a jQuery logic to communicate. So script. So, and here we are defining. So function. So we are configuring a function. And this function, so should return the data and handle the data coming from API. That means we need to make a AJAX call which can connect with the data coming from API, which can get the data coming from the API, and it can configure the data coming from the API, connect and configure the data coming from API. Now, if you remember, we learned about AJAX interactions in jQuery. We learned about AJAX interactions in jQuery. So that means we will do one thing. That means we can get the data directly and load it, and we can get it on button clicks and all. Initially, what we are doing now is, you can see the index page here. This is the index page we are designing. Let's run this API one more time. So let's run the API one more time. So that is businesslayer.js, server started, and see the index page. It should display this now. Whatever data is coming, I need to consume the data and present the data in this table form. We need to consume the data and present the data in the tabular form, Then how do we manage that? How we can access, configure, and handle the data coming from there? So we will do one thing. How we can manage that? We will do one thing. To get the data and manage the data and handling. So here we learned about AJAX calls. If you remembered, we will use the AJAX calls. How we can make an AJAX call and get the data and consume the data. I already showed you two AJAX methods are there. I already showed you two AJAX methods. We can use AJAX, or we can use getJSON methods. So I will show you both of them. By using these methods, we can communicate and we can get the data and return the data, right? We can use both of them. If you have observed our previous example, I will show you. Means in our previous example, actually what we done is we handled the communication with the JSON file. So data kept in some file, and from the file we are accessing. Observe carefully. I think we learned that in our jQuery concept, right? In the jQuery AJAX example, yeah, this is where we have learned. What we are doing is, we are using getJSON. We are accessing data. We are accessing data by using from this JSON file. Only this logic will change. Rest of logic, everything is same. Only this will change. That means this time data will come. This time data will come not from. Data will come not from. So it will not come from the file. It will come from API. That means this is only the logic you need to handle here. So that means what we will do now here, simply we will use $.getJSON. Here our API is http://127.0.0.1:3000/get products. That is the API. This API request is made and done. Done is a callback function. It is a callback function. Done uses a callback function. And this callback function, it will return error, it will return data. Whatever data is collected, it will return the data. Observe here, it is returning the data, right? That means whatever data comes, it will collect the data. That means from this URL, whatever data is coming, it will get the data. And that data we need to present in table. You know how to present in table. So we are using each function, and on the collection, we will use a callback. We will collect the key and value. So, and value is nothing but, so value is the object we need to present in a table. Then how do we present in a table? Here we need to access, we need to design here. So a table row, and in the row, we need to design. So cell, okay. In the cell, we need to put here dollar. So, and we need to get here. So we will put a backtick, better, because we will embed expression here. Value dot product ID. This is the first field displayed in the cell. And in the next cell, in the row next cell, we want to display the value dot name. And in the third cell, we want to display the value. So value dot price, we need to display value dot price. We need to configure and add this dot append to hash t body, append to the table body. The row is created and row is added to the table body. Now the data is coming from another URL and you are accessing the data and presenting the data. Now, once you see here, so when I refresh here, when I am accessing and trying the data, here one problem will come. What is the problem? I will tell you. That is what we discussed actually. So here, when I refresh the data, you can see in the console, inspect. In the console, you will find a problem here. In the problem is nothing but why dollar is not defined. That means some jQuery problem is coming here. So where that jQuery file is working fine. Where the problem is there at the function, that means script is not working fine. The one switch, the jQuery script file, means jQuery script have a problem. jQuery dist jQuery.js. Connection refusal. Everything is fine. Once we check this, connection refusal means API is not running. Once we run the API, so let's run this API business layer. Okay. Now I refresh this. It should. You can see now. You can see the problem here. What it is saying is, it is saying that XML HTTP request AJAX have a blocked by CORS. This is very important point, as I told you. Blocked by CORS means data is coming from another source. If data is coming from another server and your application is running on one server, data is coming from another server. Now, due to that, it is blocking the data coming from another location. If you remembered, the previous topic we discussed was about that CORS issue only. You need to write the CORS settings, configure the CORS settings to avoid this problem, Or there is one more technique. How to write that I will tell you. There is one more technique actually. Generally, you can open this in another browser. Suppose I have a Chrome browser. So Chrome browser. In the Chrome browser, so I am opening the same index page. In the Chrome browser, we are opening the same index page. And you can see that here in that page, data is coming. So your logic is perfect. It is working fine. But why in Chrome it is coming and why it is not coming in another browser? Browser issues will be there because they can block the data coming from external source. Chrome is allowing, but when you are practicing in Chrome also, you will get the same problem. So how to overcome this problem? By writing the CORS related settings. By writing CORS related settings, you can overcome this problem. That means browser compatibility issues should not come. So on one browser it is allowed, another browser it is not allowed. But we need to design in such a way that in any browser it should work. So that means why Chrome is showing, because in my computer, in this Chrome, I downloaded a plugin. Chrome have apps. In the Chrome Web Store, you will find an application called CORS. You will find a CORS application. You see, I have a CORS application. I enabled this application in my Chrome. You see, in my Chrome, I have enabled that application. Due to that, what happens is, observe carefully, inspect. I will do one thing in the console. What I will do now, what I will do here, it is working fine, no problem. What I will do now, I will go to the CORS plugin and disable it. That means I am blocking. Then when I refresh, you can see it shows CORS error, same error. Understood, everyone? That means in Chrome also it will not work actually. But I have a special tool which will remove those blocking and it will allow the data. I enabled it again, then it is working. Right? You cannot ask your client like this now. You cannot ask your client like download a plugin, enable plugin, disable plugin. Any browser it should go. Right? On any browser you need to send it. In that case, we have to write that CORS related settings in our API itself. In our API itself, we have to write the CORS related setting also. Then it is able to send your information across any browser. How to configure the CORS and write the CORS so that it can work on every device that we have to do. So this is an end-to-end application now. That means database in MongoDB, server-side Node.js, API with Express, and client-side jQuery. Now we will see a complete end-to-end example from database to front-end, how to build the communication. Complete example end-to-end. We will create a new project and we will design a complete end-to-end communication. Reading the data, inserting the data, how to work with them. That we will see in our next session tomorrow. Okay, na? Right? Tomorrow, don't miss tomorrow's session because tomorrow we are going to learn a new project and we will build a complete project end to end now. Understood? That means whatever we have learned up to now, we are going to build a complete project end to end with this all knowledge. So that means, so for at least 3-4 sessions, we will continue on one project and build one small application end to end. Okay, na? Tomorrow we will continue with that, right? Yes.